This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Isagenix products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Information provided on this website and in all publications, packaging, and labels is for general purposes only and designed to help you make informed decisions about your health. It is not intended to substitute advice from your physician or healthcare professional.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our third series of our Wellness Edge calls. Make sure you put in the chat where you're from and let us know if you are preparing for Snowmageddon. I know here in Tennessee, we are expecting like 9 to 15 inches of snow this weekend. So let me know if that's y'all as well. If y'all are getting ready. Oh, Hawaii, Bobby, you are probably not experiencing Snowmageddon. All right. But yes, my Kentucky friends, no snow here. Yeah, exactly, Bobby. Have fun. Well, welcome, everybody. We hope you're staying warm. We're so excited that you are here as we continue our focus in January on resetting and just having a fabulous new year. On week 1, we talked with Dr. Paul about why your body craves a reset after the holidays. Last week, we talked with Coach Lockie about simple habit shifts. That was an amazing call, and y'all are in for a real treat today because we have Dr. Mia here today where she's going to focus on how to use the 30-day reset pack to support a healthy lifestyle. So everyone, welcome Dr. Mia in the chat. Give her some love. All right. And we're going to just jump right in because I know we got several questions for you tonight, Dr. Mia. So I'm just going to start if that's okay.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Welcome to 2026. I'm so excited to see you all. Very grateful for your time tonight. So thanks for hopping on.
All right. Yes. And I don't know if I introduced myself earlier. I am Dawn Edens. I'm Field Engagement Manager here at Isagenix and also run the Kickstart 90 program. So this is the perfect topic for all my Kickstart 90 fans and tribe and friends out there as well. Okay. So very first question, Dr. Mia, what is the intention behind the 30-day reset? And really, how is it different from a traditional diet?
Love your question. Okay. So I would like to say, so for everyone on the call, you all know I see patients every single day. And I love the 30-day reset because it's not about restriction or how we need to deprive ourselves. We've all been there, done that, done everything. The 30-day reset is really designed to help your body literally recalibrate, right? When we're looking at consistency, metabolic support, nutrition. And I want everyone on this call to know I am personally doing a reset right now because I believe none of us can have too many resets. I was completely off track over Christmas, traveling. Some of you may have seen I went away for a little bit with my daughter, ended up getting sick. So absolutely was completely off track. And so I like it because for me, it's about reconnecting with the feeling of consistency rather than needing perfection, because perfection doesn't work. So the approach for everyone on this call, I want you to know this aligns with the Blue Zone philosophy. And you all know that I've talked about that. We're all not the same. We're all unique creatures, but our bodies do require individualization. So we have our DNA and it responds to positive inputs and it responds to stress and it responds to toxins and lifestyle. So when we're looking at how we can, use our recipe book and how to regulate ourselves, we all need resetting to support our biology in a way that is sustainable and evidence-based. Centurions, people who live to 100, the people who live in the Blue Zone, did that through decades of being sustainable, resetting, continually doing what they think to do. They were not perfect. And you guys all know on the call, I'm your walking transformation. I, literally transform my body. And Isagenix is backed by science. It's not a trend. I love that. Hundreds of thousands of people, have transformed their bodies. We see that in all the before and after photos. We see that in the research, whether that's Skidmore College. And for me, that's all about validation. I know the system works. We can have our weight loss. I absolutely lost weight if you saw my photos. It's about overall visceral body fat. The visceral body fat's really hard to lose. And I love the 30-day reset because it really helps us focus on that. That's that fat in your midline, but it's under your skin, in your organ area. It's definitely a sustainable way for long-term weight management. You can have better adherence to a monthly routine. It supports our lean muscle mass. Absolutely. Love cardiovascular, so it does improve our cardiovascular risk markers. I love the toxin release. I could go on forever. But the big message I want you all to know is it's not restriction. It's absolutely consistency, something that is sustainable. And I'm always looking. When I get off track, I literally start to reset again. How many of you agree in the call when you do a reset after 1 to 2 weeks, you literally notice a difference? When you really dig back into the tradition of who we are, you would say you absolutely feel different after those 2 weeks, right? Yeah, look at the comments for sure, right? It does completely make a difference. We all get off track and don't do it.
Love that. Yeah, they're all agreeing with you. And I love that Jody had said that she did a cleanse and she feels just so much better. And that actually is going to lead to my next question. Is how do shakes and cleanse day work together in the reset?
Right. It's like reset, then you got your routine and you'll see some results. Absolutely. So for me, the shakes are that high quality nutrition that most people really do struggle to achieve daily. And protein, I want protein that's clean, highly bioavailable. I want to support my muscle mass, my metabolic health, and especially have my blood sugar balance. Most people do not eat enough protein, and it's most predominant early in the day that we see that. And that is where people start kicking into having cravings or fatigue. But fiber is just as critical because most adults, again, are low in fiber, and I'll talk about that in a second. But fiber affects digestion, detoxification, gut health. And I love that our shakes also have, great fiber, which helps with our blood sugar regulation and things like that. I don't know how many of you guys know on the call, but up to 40% of adults right now do not reach their minimum intake of protein. 40%. That's crazy. That's 4 on every 10 of us on this call. And we know protein needs to be in our diet, but most people tend to skew that more towards dinner, leaving breakfast and lunch protein deficient. And so that contributes to blood sugar instability or having cravings or fatigue. And then when we look at fiber, sadly, you guys, fiber is even a bigger issue. Up to 90% of adults fall within not making their fiber intake. Women are supposed to have 25 grams, men 38. And we know, again, if you got fiber, you have good blood sugar control, all of those things. I want you all on this call to imagine, this is what I tell my patients: white bread, brown bread. No fiber, lots of fiber, right? You eat the white bread, it sticks to your mouth, right? It has no fiber. If you give that to a person and eat it, their blood sugar, the white bread, literally spikes up and comes down. The brown makes it go longer. So I want you to imagine why fiber is so important in all of our meals to help keep our blood sugars nice and steady, help with satiety with our protein. And then when we move to cleanse days, that's that whole supporting our natural detox pathways. And, things that are really great on those days, and people will use, sometimes we'll add in bone broth or those sort of things if they're feeling a little bit woozy. A lot of us will go really deep down, but there's nothing like that next day. How many of you here on this call would agree when you accomplish your 24-hour cleanse or you get to your 48, you feel on fire when you wake up the next day? I see Pam nodding her head. I see Joni nodding her head, Wendy nodding her head. Would you guys agree? Sometimes it's hard when you reset, really hard to cleanse. Man, you got to really be gritty and those sort of things. But you feel on fire that next day. And so that's what I love about that whole piece is the 24-hour fast with Isogenics is designed to support metabolic reset, fat utilization, cellular removal. So you have your cleanse for life. You can maybe add in some bone broth if you needed, but it is very medically science-based, and I'm in love with the whole program. Here I am 8 years later, and I'm a walking, talking. And when I talk to people, I've been able to sustain my weight. I've been able to reset myself to play the game over and over and over for a healthy lifestyle.
Love that. Yeah, they are loving. I'm loving reading these comments. Okay, let's go to the next question because this one is very interesting. How would someone think about protein and carbohydrates during the 30-day reset?
Okay. So, simple way to understand fueling is that carbohydrates, I always describe to people, is like kindling. They burn fast, they give us energy, they come to our brain. And protein is like that amazing log on the fire. It burns slowly, keeps us sustainable. So, what I like people to know is when we're looking at meals, you want to make sure that you're having a mixture of both, not just carbohydrate rich, because you're going to come up and down. And it's really good to make sure that you're combining your carbohydrates if you're having them with your protein to get rid of the energy spikes, the crashes, those kind of things. So prioritize protein first, like through our shakes, through our snack bites, protein crackers, which is a combination of protein and carbohydrates, and really look for that beautiful balanced meals that are going to sustain our energy, control our appetite, and believe it or not, mood stability. How many of you would agree that you can have a real shift in your mood as well, depending upon how rich? I see Wendy nodding again. Yeah, Wendy's on there. Thanks for nodding. That carbohydrates, you might notice a bigger swing in your mood. And as a woman, perimenopausal or menopausal, boy, that's even like adding more gas on the fire, right? We're struggle enough. No, seriously, right? It's so true.
That's so true. Yeah.
It is really true. And everybody knows I track my mood every day and all my stuff. But I really want everyone to know that it's, really think about your protein. You should have protein at every meal. So shake, and your third meal and stuff.
Love
Don't
that.
skip the protein.
Don't skip the protein. I experimented yesterday with our protein powder. I kind of put a scoop of that into my Greek yogurt. Oh my gosh, amazing! So I had the protein from the Greek yogurt, but then I also had the extra clear protein in the yogurt, and it was so good, so good.
Well, that brings us to, so everybody, I'm drinking the new clear protein. How many of you guys tried this one, the blueberry lemonade? It is crazy amazing. So I was just saying to them, I'm in love with it. And again, getting into making sure you're getting your protein. So yeah, I would encourage you all, if you haven't ordered this, the bag was beautiful, everything that I ordered. So yeah, love the new clear protein. So for all of us on this call, remember, I'm going back to up to 40% of you aren't getting enough protein, 90% fiber. Please, if you need to add in more protein, you're not getting it, get the clear protein as well. I usually have one every afternoon at minimum.
Yeah, love that. Okay, let's talk about a couple other products that are in that 30-day reset. Yeah. So what role do adaptogens like Ionic Supreme and Adaptogen Elixir play, and when should they be taken?
Well, most of us know, so life is very stressful, whether you have a good life or not. In the chat, I'd like you all, if you're comfortable, if you had to rate your stress overall in life, this is exactly what I ask my patients and everything. 0 is none, 10 is like excruciating. Where's your stress right now in life? The first number that popped in your head, if you can put it in the chat. Just don't think about it, put it in the chat.
20.
20. Yeah. And I really appreciate you guys all participating.
Yeah.
And the reason I do this is I want you to know everybody has stress, right? Most of us, there's not 1 0 there. We all have some level. Thank you so much. You guys are so honest, and that makes it more robust to be able to work with you all when it's like that. So we all have stress, and what I want to say is adaptogens, we know they support the body's ability to respond to stress, and helping us, with those things. It's important to know that adaptogens are not stimulants, but we all have emotional load, poor sleep, busy schedules, you're exposed to toxins, you're under fueling, whatever you have going. I had a root canal this morning, everybody. I broke my tooth off and I went thinking it was going to be in and out, and I ended up coming out with a root canal. Stress, right? Pain. So I want you all to know my routine and why I believe in it. So I personally take Ionic Supreme and the Adaptogen Elixir every single day, because I probably run on around a 7 or an 8 for stress. I have lots going on. And so in my fridge, you'll see is all lined up. I take my Ionics in the morning, and then I take my Adaptogen Elixir early afternoon. For some people, you can do it differently. So the idea with the adaptogens is to help with our cortisol levels, help us get that balance, our nervous system regulation. Some people, we know cortisol tends to be highest in the morning. So for some people, it works really well in the morning or in the early afternoon to support stamina, those sort of things. But some people do benefit. How many of you on this call, sometimes you go to bed, but you're still wired. Like you feel really, really wired and you're struggling. That is sometimes where the ionics might be more beneficial for you at night if you're thinking that you're still struggling with that up there. So I do encourage you all, we are all unique creatures. Again, that's my favorite line, is figure out what best works for you. And you might need to move it around to figure out, right? It's like warm tea. If I'm feeling, I love that. If you're wired at night, drink it with your greens and ionics. Yeah, all these creative ways that you can take it. The powdered ionics with a cup of tea is amazing. I will agree. It's so, so good. So your timing should be individualized, but I would say after everyone saw all of those numbers, how many of you on the call would agree? Everybody should be on ionics that we know. Friends, family, right? Life's stressful. We're exposed to a lot. So that is my suggestion, Dawn, on the ionics and the adaptogen elixir. One of the most amazing, spectacular products ever.
Yeah, I love that. I have a hard time turning my brain off, is what I like to call it. So absolutely, ionics.
My husband loves it. Please, Ron, don't judge me, but we have 2 jugs in the fridge and we write our names in black marker on the fridge, and we have them labeled and this is yours, this is mine, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's no shade there. No shade.
Yeah, no shade. Everyone knows I'm pretty honest about life. But yeah, we black mark for them.
I love that. Okay, well, speaking of you and your husband using products a little bit differently, how can someone personalize the 30-day reset based on their goals?
And again, it goes back to Dawn that personalization is essential and simplicity is going to be the key. And so when I talk to my patients or my friends or my colleagues, I'm helping coach someone right now in California who's a really great friend. I take a shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch. And then I tell everybody, this is my personal opinion, and again, it's mine only, is then have that healthy meal at dinner. To me, I would say to most people on the call, you can make a routine out of breakfast and lunch if you're doing a 30-day reset. Most of us can eat pretty consistently day in and day out for 30 days and you're doing a reset. But supper is a time perhaps of family or community or whatever you're doing and you'd like more flexibility. So I tell them, perhaps that's a better time to do that third meal. But when I'm looking at personalizing people for the 30-day reset, in amongst all that, we all have different taste needs or different desires or things. Like I'm a chocolate girl, so I buy chocolate shakes because I do like chocolate. And so making sure when you're building that 30-day reset that you're still addressing who you really are. If you like chocolate, don't buy vanilla. I'm being really honest. Those things can make or break people when they're doing a regular routine. I also love coffee, so I'll make my shake with coffee and chocolate and make a frappuccino. But really honor who are you in your real life, right? Mm-hmm. My husband loves the bone broth. He loves that. He drinks that as well on a regular basis. Me, not so much. I really like the protein crackers because I also like savory. So just really be thoughtful when you're building a 30-day reset that it's going to be sustainable to you. I love our new energy bars that we have, the small little ones for an afternoon snack. Again, chocolate fudge, sea salt, or peanut butter and chocolate chip. And so when I'm helping people build a pack or whatever, really looking at who are you so you can get through your 30-day reset. We all have capacity. And again, I go back to women, because we have a lot of women here. When you're in perimenopause, menopause, we do struggle with things like cravings or pains or, all those sort of things. And truly, sometimes that can be a little bit harder for all of us. So I do want to, again, go back to making sure we're getting enough protein, and enough hydration because we have accelerated muscle loss, hormone fluctuations. It's a really big worry for me when I see people all the time. Women tend to starve themselves. That is what I tend to see when they get desperate. They try all these other things, and then they start where they're skipping breakfast or they're not eating till 6 p.m. or those sort of things. And that's just not a sustainable lifestyle forever.
Absolutely. And I think that's a key word. I mean, those one word, sustainable. Like what we're talking about is sustainable. We're not talking about, dieting forever. We're not talking about depriving ourselves. What we're talking about is, simple steps to reset and make it sustainable all year round, not just focus on January. Then how many of y'all, let me just ask in the chat, how many of y'all are currently using the 30-day reset pack? I know that's like the flagship product of our Kickstart 90 folks. Okay, 13 years for Jody. Love that. Always. Okay.
And that's a great question, Dawn, because I tell people, I love the word reset. I don't like the word resolution. I love the word, what's your North Star? Where are you trying to get? People have heard me say that. They kind of go interchangeable. And when you're looking at who you want to be or what you're trying to fulfill as your goal, it's those consistency over and over and over that gets you to those results, right? Things that can be sustainable.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. Carla said it's a lifestyle. Yeah.
Love that, Carla. Yeah. Love this. Okay. Let's continue on with this topic. Next question is, how does this 30-day reset help shift from a restriction mindset to a nourishment mindset?
So I'm going to kind of lead when I'm thinking of restriction mindset to nourishment mindset. So one of the things that I love to talk about is how I really believe processed food kind of confuses our body, and there can be very calorie dense, but very nutrient poor. And so keep in mind that when we're looking at our body driving inflammation or blood sugar disruption and cravings, I really love people to be very aware of processed food or the labeling on processed food and those sort of things. So when we're looking at nourishing food, we want to send the opposite signals to our body for getting away from restriction or poor substitutes of what we're eating to a nourishment mindset. We want to go to nourishing foods to send those signals, whether it's to our mitochondria, our DNA, our brain signals of high quality protein, fiber-rich plants, healthy fats, clean ingredients. And they really do help our body feel that sensation of satiety much better. And when the body feels supported, hormones are going to start regulating better, more effectively. Digestion's going to improve, cravings decrease, and energy can start to stabilize for a lot of people. But this isn't instant, right? We all know it takes a while to build a habit and to do things. So I don't want anyone to be discouraged that you really dive in and do this, and in 5 days you still don't, you need to know it's going to take a little bit of time, because sometimes when you have pretty profound cravings or you've eaten a lot of sugar and those sort of things, that takes time. The big thing that I want people, when you go to that third meal, whatever time of day is best for you, it's kind of like, what does it need to be? Dinner portions, they got to be adjusted based on your goals, right? So if everyone remembers, do you remember how big our plates used to be with our grandma, the petit point and everything? They were pretty small dinner plates. Our dinner plates now, they're like turkey platters now, right? So really guide yourself and anchor yourself with that meal with 4 to 6 ounces of a really healthy, protein. And then you got your leafy greens and lots of color, and make sure it's a complex carbohydrate or those kind of things, fiber-rich vegetables and some healthy fats. And that's really going to make a difference while you're making this shift. On the shake days, really just getting to routine, and make sure you love your shakes. Meals, those shakes are super clean and super healthy. Find the right snacks for you, like I said. But progress is going to be measured for you by how are you sleeping? How's your digestion feeling? How's your energy feeling? Not just by what you look in the mirror or how, maybe how your clothes are fitting, but rather than just don't get stuck on what is the scale exactly doing, because again, that all takes time. How many of you guys would agree with that?
Yeah, we always talk about, like in Kickstart 90, we want to talk about the non-scale victories, because we're not talking about the numbers. We're talking about the other victories, that you're 100%. Able to take the stairs rather than the elevator. Your clothes fit a little bit longer. You're drinking more water. Absolutely.
I will share with people on the call, and I've actually not shared it. Michelle will know that she's on the call with anyone yet, but I've been helping coach my daughter. My daughter was very, very sick last summer, could have possibly passed away. And she was very overweight, like extremely overweight. And just with that gentle coaching, re-regulating her meals, she's moving her body. I'm proud to tell you all she's down 51 pounds and she has 20 more to go. And it is amazing, but we've done it healthy, right?
Mhm.
Setting consistency, setting routines, sustainable goals, and the change in mindset has been phenomenal, as well as clarity and all of those things. And so, I truly practice what I preach. Nothing crazy, don't do anything nuts. It needs to be sustainable, but it can't be about restriction, right? It needs to be something that it's a nourishing frame of mind. Ionics, I have her pumped full of ionics, all kinds of things, right?
I
But
love that.
truly, God, I didn't have her cleansing. Like she was sick, and man, that's why some of you will, if you're friends with me, that's why we went to Paris. That was my mother-daughter trip for her to fight for her life. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing. That fits in
Yeah.
perfectly with what we talked about last week with Coach Lockie, that just changing small habits
Yes.
can lead to some big results. And it starts with one small habit at a time. So amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah.
congratulations to your daughter. Let her know that we're so proud of her.
Thank you.
All right. I think we have time for about one more question here. So what happens after someone, uses all of the products, within that 30 days? When the 30 days is complete, kind of tell us what happens.
Well, it's a great segue from what I just shared with you all, right? You get them on the 30-day, and whether that's you or someone else, and just being that supportive and learning how to find that sustainable rhythm, trying to individualize it for them, and then getting them so they can continue on with a repeatable system that is lasting. And again, that goes back to my daughter, right? Literally, I had things lined up on her counter. I want you to do this and do this and do this. And, you just need to walk for 10 minutes one day. And, all of those pieces, literally, like Bonnie said, rinse and repeat, right? And my health, my personal health up to 8 years, you learn, again, I say the thing, you learn how to play the game. And you have consistency. Everyone knows I still drink shakes. I still do all this. But when I get off the rails again, I literally go back to the full 30-day reset again. Get myself going, right? Get myself spinning in the right direction. Energy, metabolism, digestion, brain clarity, sleep, all that. And then I go back to sustainability. And I hope that answers that for all of you. But that's exactly, Dawn, what I believe in.
I love that. I know some folks are asking for more resources. Know that you can go to isamovie.com, and we also have isagenixhealth.net. Lots of valuable resources there. And if you're part of our Kickstart 90, there is a 30-day reset tracker that you literally can laminate and color in every single day, just like you said, like with your daughter, getting her steps in, making sure she's doing her shakes and all the things. So there are lots of resources that are out there for you if you are on this 30-day. And again, the key word here is sustainable. Just to, let's do these 30 days, small habits, make big wins, and then rinse and repeat, just like Bonnie and everyone else had said as well. So fun. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mia, for sharing your insight. Thanks again for being vulnerable and being honest and sharing what's happening in your own family and your own personal life as well. And so I know, let's get some love to Dr. Mia in the chat. And I know someone said if they're not in Kickstart 90, yes, that 30-day tracker is on IsaBiz. So connect with the person that invited you to this call, and they can get you that tracker as well. All right. Lots of love coming your way, Dr. Mia.
Thank you, everybody. I love you all. I hope I see a lot of you at Celebration and you come and join us. And man, we have some really exciting announcements coming up in Celebration. So if you're there, make sure you come and see me.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Isagenix products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Information provided on this website and in all publications, packaging, and labels is for general purposes only and designed to help you make informed decisions about your health. It is not intended to substitute advice from your physician or healthcare professional.